Does Patrick Mahomes currently have one of the best quarterback deals in the NFL, or are the Chiefs borderline criminals taking advantage of him?
He's grossly underpaid. He's criminally underpaid. There's a point where it's an embarrassment to everyone involved.
That's what I'm saying.
To everyone involved.
Right.
They're taking advantage of his good nature.
Well, we are going to get to the bottom of this answer in today's video and much freaking more. But first, how about those? First up this weekend is the Chiefs rookie minicamp, which is May 6th through the 8th, and will include the Chiefs' recent draft class, UDFAs the Chiefs signed, undrafted players who got an invite to minicamp, injured veteran players, veteran tryout players, and also select first-year players. And all of these guys will basically get some extra/early time in with the coaching staff before the vets get into the building, and this will help jumpstart them and catch them up on what they've missed in the offseason program so far, and allows them to acclimate to life in the NFL. I mean, they're basically going to be overwhelmed on purpose for 3 days to see how much they can handle, and coaches will be looking for standout players and those who seem to grasp things a bit easier than others. So again, that's this weekend. And on the subject of rookies, I recently saw NFL Network's Charles Davis. He was asked what rookie receiver he thinks is going to lead in receiving yards this upcoming season, and his reply was, I'm going to go with a little bit of a surprise and say Rashee Rice out of SMU, who went to the Kansas City Chiefs, because he's going to fill the role that Juju Smith-Schuster had, and Patrick Mahomes is going to get him up to speed fast. This kid caught a bunch of balls at SMU. He's played pitch and catch his entire career, and I will personally add that he put up 1,300, just over 1,300 yards and 10 touchdowns, playing like half the season with turf toe. So I like the dark horse pick of Rashee Rice and will certainly be rooting for the guy. Next up, since we're discussing receivers, it looks like, allegedly at least, DeAndre Hopkins, the guy I've been asked about every single day alongside Justin Ross for the past 3 months, is going to be staying in Arizona playing with the Cardinals after all. At least that's what's being reported. Last week, the Cardinals GM himself seemed pretty adamant that D-Hop would remain a Cardinal when asked about it, saying, absolutely, DeAndre is a Cardinal. So DeAndre is a Cardinal, and we're moving forward. This guy is like broken. He's repeating himself. On top of that, DeAndre Hopkins recently took to his Instagram story to say,
I see everybody tell me to stay. Who said I want to go? Who said I wanted to leave? I'm out here working, baby.
So D-Hop's either backpedaling now that he knows he will more than likely be staying in Arizona, or some other random off-season cryptic reason. I guess there is still the chance he could be released later on or traded before the trade deadline later this season, but only time will tell there. You guys got to let me know. Are you still on the do whatever it takes to get DeAndre Hopkins train here in KC or nah? And then it was recently reported from a German tabloid that the Chiefs will be playing the Bears and the Patriots will be playing the Saints in, you guessed it, Germany. The dates are going to be November 12th and 19th. At least that's what's being reported, but we're going to find out with 100% certainty when the league reveals the schedule around May 11th. And just in case you wanted to see what this paragraph looks like in German from this German tabloid, here you go. And it reads as follows: in diesem Jar finden Glitchsway. Okay, I'm joking. I'm not about to read that. I mean, I can barely read my script as it is in English.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Don't nobody understand the words that are coming out of your mouth, man.
All right, from here, I want to talk about an interesting segment from Chris Sims and Mike Florio, who were talking about quarterback contracts and how Patrick Mahomes is currently severely underpaid, and his representation basically set him up with a criminal level ripoff of a deal when you compare what he's earned in his first 3 years since his extension compared to others. Florio says, quote, Patrick Mahomes is getting the short end of the stick here, and they benefit from the fact that Mahomes is a nice guy, a guy who's compliant. He's a guy who's just going to take it and deal with it and smile. All right, Florio, let's pause right there for a word from our sponsors. Buy my coffee, link in description. But seriously, we got to stop and talk about this, man. Mahomes has an agent that has negotiated over $4 billion with a B dollars in contracts with players such as Troy Aikman, Steve Young, Big Ben, and many, many more over many, many years. You think for 1 second his agent is just going to be like, hey man, they are taking complete advantage of you simply because you're nice. You cool with that? Because I am. Heck freaking no. Yet Florio continues saying there's no way Mahomes can be smiling when he sees this graphic, which has QB contracts and their 3 years of cash flow based on their current deals. And since this graphic was made, gotta note this, Mahomes would actually be 11th on this list if you use Florio's math of Mahomes' 3 years of income from the moment he got extended in 2020 because of Lamar Jackson's new deal. But the Chiefs don't view things the same way.
We're only 1 year into a 10-year contract, so there's a long ways to go.
So the Chiefs are saying Mahomes is on year 1 of his 10-year extension, but Florio counters by saying,
extensions don't work the way that so many people think, and Clark knows that. He did a 12-year contract 3 years ago. They are 3 years into it.
So based on Florio's chart and where they perceived Mahomes' extension to take place, it puts him in 11th with $65-ish million made on the first 3 years of his new deal. But if you look at Patrick's cash flow, basing it on Clark Hunt's timeline of Mahomes has played 1 year on his 10-year contract, the 3-year cash flow would actually be a little higher, almost double, around $110 million, putting him between Daniel Jones and Kyler Murray. Either way, these guys are saying Mahomes should clearly be at the top of this list since he's the best in the game. So best player equals highest paid, right? Well, at the time Mahomes got his deal done, he was the highest paid player, but I digress about that. Nobody is arguing about Mahomes being the best in the game. He's literally on a league of his own, but sometimes the greats intentionally think ahead into the future, taking less money now to chase something even bigger than themselves. But it's like Florio doesn't see that, or he just doesn't care, because from here, he proceeds to accuse the Chiefs of some rather wild stuff and even has a PSA for Mahomes himself.
But Patrick, you're getting screwed. And at some point, Patrick, you got to stand up for yourself, because what's happening to you is wrong.
Does it get to a point where it gets so bad and such a bad look that even the Chiefs and Mahomes are like, wait, hold on, we gotta do something here. This is ridiculous.
I mean, at some point, talking about the con artist, at some point, don't you feel guilty if you're the Chiefs? Don't you feel bad? It's just wrong, and it needs to change. And at a certain point, it becomes an embarrassment.
I mean, this man needs to put down the pipe, because whatever he's smoking is laced with darkness retreat type hallucinogens. Mahomes is way brighter than Florio can even begin to comprehend, yet he thinks Mahomes may suddenly change his mind about everything and have an epiphany since he recently attended the Met Gala and was around a bunch of rich people.
He may realize, I'm getting screwed here. And if he does, Chiefs got a problem.
No.
Chiefs better be ready to write a check.
Well, sorry to disappoint you, Mike, but there is not going to be a problem. You see, Mahomes was well aware of all this from the moment he inked his deal, and he had this to say even as recently as 9 months ago about quarterbacks who started to get paid more money than he was.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome for not only the quarterback market, but for just the market of players in general. You want the salary cap to keep going up. You want players to keep getting more and more money. And when I signed my deal, I knew I was going to be pretty set for life, regardless of what the market kind of happens. You just keep playing. I mean, money is one thing, but when you get those Super Bowl rings at the end of your career, I think that's going to be the thing that you look back upon. And I think I've made enough money from the football field and then obviously off of it as well that it won't matter at the end of the day. You always want to get paid. Like I said, take care of your family, but I want to have a great team around me as well. And so whatever way that is, I'm going to make sure I have a great team around me the rest of my career.
You see, Florio, there's levels to this game. Some players want all the money. Others want Super Bowl rings. Mahomes said himself he's set for life and wants to use that extra money to build a great team around him for years to come. Plus, he's chilling right now. Part owner of the Royals, part owner of Sporting KC, part owner of KC Current, and also has endorsement deals with Oakley, State Farm, Adidas, Head & Shoulders, and a waiting list that's probably longer than Florio's pointless rants. Anyway, to answer Florio's question at the beginning of this when he asked,
how could you smile when you look at that graphic?
I don't think Mahomes cares one way or another about your stupid little graphic. He can smile knowing that QBs who are way less talented than him are going to be eating up a lot of cap space, making it harder for those teams to go and win championships. He can smile knowing that his contract is
Part of the reason why we were able to lift the Lombardi Trophy again.
And he also smiled real big once the Chiefs won the Super Bowl and got to celebrate with another Super Bowl victory parade. These are the things that Mahomes smiles at. Plus, let's be honest, the Chiefs will bump his pay when needs be, more than likely in the next couple of years, especially after Burrow and Herbert get their deals done. The Chiefs want to keep Mahomes happy, even if Mike thinks they are con artists. And that's where I want to get your thoughts on this situation. Do you agree with Mike Florio? Do you think the Chiefs are scamming Mahomes out of money he deserves? Or rather, do you think Mahomes intentionally took less money to build a great team around him and chase rings? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, because I'm ever so curious to know what you think. Lastly, I got to talk about something that I don't really want to cover, and for clarity, it's Jackson Mahomes, okay? So if you don't want to hear it, this is your out right now to click off this video and go about your day, because this is the last segment before I end today's video. But I need to talk about this for a moment because Patrick's name is getting attached to this case on every article from every website known to man, and I guess it's for increased clicks, views, traffic, etc. But it sucks. And it's a shame that someone who composes himself, talking about Patrick, with such professionalism, kindness, maturity, authenticity, and respect is getting his name attached to something that has nothing to do with him personally other than This is his brother, though in some respect, I get it. Patrick's the face of the Chiefs and arguably the face of the NFL, and unfortunately, anything that happens to his family or those close to him, whether good or bad, but especially bad, is going to get his name attached to it, even if he in no way, shape, or form had any part in what took place. So first off, it's a shame and rather unfortunate. And second, I already know that no matter how I approach this subject, no matter the angle, some people watching will not be happy with what I say, how I say it, or that I'm talking about this at all. But I'm not doing this for clicks. I'm not doing this for attention. You know, Jackson's name is not on the title. His face is not on the thumbnail. And honestly, I don't know if this video will get demonetized or not for what I'm about to talk about, but I don't really care, man. I'm not doing this for clicks, views, extra money, any of that. I just want you to know that this is one of those subjects I approached with great caution, first running it by several members of my team because of what's being accused. I mean, these are serious accusations, nothing to joke about, and I know Jackson isn't on the team or in the NFL, but again, it's something I felt a bit of an obligation to speak on because of the national news that it's making and Patrick's name being attached to every single article. So with all that being said, Jackson Mahomes did get arrested and booked into Johnson County Detention Center on a $100,000 bond Wednesday, May 3rd, being charged with 3 counts of aggravated sexual battery and an additional 4th count of battery. He then appeared in court briefly on Zoom later that day before being signed a preliminary hearing on May 11th where he will attend in person. And this stems back to the surveillance video published initially by the KC Star, I think, back in February that shows what sure looks like to be Jackson forcibly kissing a woman multiple times, and he was also accused of shoving a waiter. However, back in March, Jackson's lawyer released a statement refuting the claims and denying the accusations, but it'll be interesting to see how all this plays out because the security footage is not a good look for Jackson, and whatever happens here, he will need to face the consequences of his actions based on the parameters of the law, plain and simple. And hopefully this lady and anyone else involved is okay, able to heal from any potential pain or trauma caused to the best of their ability, and Jackson changes his life around for the better. And I feel the need to add that even though the security footage is not a good look for Jackson, I have no idea what's going to happen and how the court process is going to play out, but what is being accused is not good, and it is a serious thing. For the record, I do not plan on doing a bunch of updates on this case by any means, but may give a final update after whatever verdict is reached. Just felt like I needed to share about this. Thanks for taking the time if you're still here. And that is what it is. So until next time, let's go. Let's freaking go. How about those?